viewer recently, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing you wrongly, but you just had this as your nickname set. I wanted to basically see what is my setup. So, currently I was using Gentoo for a long time, but since I'm starting university soon, I've switched to Arch because Gentoo, as much as I love Gentoo, compiling everything is just not practical when I have to do other things during the day. And yeah, I'm running Zen kernel. It's basically a bit better than the standard kernel from what I heard, at least for interactivity tasks. As a shell, I'm running Z shell. What's that? What else? I'm running i3 as my window manager. No desktop environment, or as a matter of fact, I don't even have a display manager. I'm just running bare Xorg with a command that executes on login. It's in my Z login. As my theme, I'm using Flat Remix GTK. It's a very nice flat theme. This is Funar, my graphical file manager. I use it mostly to mount other hard drives. So for example, I have my Windows 10 partition on the other drive, or when I have to mount my, what's it called, USB stick or Android phone, stuff like that. Funar is more convenient for it. Other than that, I'm running Papyrus Grey as my icon set. Again, in Funar you can see everything is gray. There are no colors, which is pretty nice. It doesn't hurt eyes that much at night. And as you can see, it's almost 1 AM, so yeah, I definitely spent a lot more time at night than during the day, so dark and flat themes are good, in my opinion. Coming up further, I'm using Alacrity as a terminal emulator, mostly because of its speed. It's written in Rust and using OpenGL, so it's pretty fast, though note to it, it doesn't work on older hardware. On my ThinkPad W530 it does work, but on my ThinkPad X200 it will simply refuse to run with some OpenGL error. I can't code OpenGL, so I don't know anything about that, but that's all I simply know. And terminal font is Terminus. Alacrity. Basically, it will run on anything, I believe, Sandy Bridge iGPU or newer, so that's a pretty wide range of hardware, but yeah. Just don't expect it to run on anything that's more than 10 years old. Other than that, it's pretty good, it's pretty fast. I've been using URXVT previously, which is also pretty nice, but Alacrity is just faster and does everything I need it to do. As a font, I'm using Terminus. It's a very nice, at least in my opinion, bitmap font. It's actually not vector font, it's bitmap font. So first thing, it's very fast to render. And the second thing, it looks sharp and crisp as hell. It might not look as good, that good on the video, but in reality, Terminus is extremely sharp, which is something I like. And other than that, just boring stuff, my CPU. So, how do I, you can see in my HTOP, let me go to the other screen, I'm running BareX, basically login, then Z shell executes, then bash because start X, and then X init. So how do I do it? Basically Z login, no, not Z, yeah, Z login. This is from Zim. And basically this line executes start X whenever we have TTY set to 1. Display, if this evaluates if display doesn't exist, value, because as you can see otherwise, if I echo display, it will return our current X display, so this ensures that it doesn't execute when there's already Xorg running. And XDG virtual terminal, that's basically TTY1 check. So that's like one line replacement for an entire display manager, and I'm only one user running this system, so that's perfectly fine for my use case. But here you can see I'm also running Zim. Zim is a Z-shell framework, which is pretty fast. It does everything I need it to. It has a nice prompt, and it's a lot lighter than OMI Z-shell. I've been using OMI Z-shell previously. I think it's even in the AUR. Yeah, there are plenty OMI Z-shells in the AUR, but I'm using Zim, Zim RC, which is plenty fast. It's actually extremely fast and has nice documentations without many things that get in the way. Basically, just a nicer Z-shell out of the box that runs fast. Down here there's also Exa, which I'm using as a LS replacement, basically nice colored LS. So whenever I'm using LS, it just binds it to Exa. Yeah, it's pretty colors basically. I can still use standard LS, you know, bin LS, but Exa has pretty colors and the saner defaults from what I recall. Like, I can see that this is a symlink, this is where it leads to, this is the actual directory. So what's next here? Maybe xinitrc. What is this? This xrender, this is basically to set refresh rate to 144 Hz, loading X resources. This is a pretty nice line. X set error rate. This allows, yeah. Xorg basically repeats key presses faster, so when I need to do like a bunch of spaces and I just need to hold, it's particularly nice in Vim, so I can just hold J instead when I'm lazy instead of typing like 20J, you know. Next, X wallpaper. That's a black background. Yeah, this is actually a wallpaper because otherwise Xorg would sometimes set a gray background. I'm not sure why, but that picture is basically 920 full HD black, nothing black PNG, nothing in it. Next, Redshift. Redshift, it's a pretty nice software that slowly turns your screen more orangish. Maybe it will come out on the video. I'm not sure how FFmpeg captures the screen, but it modifies the gamma every few, I believe, seconds. So as in Redshift, it's running under i3 because of Xinit. And yeah, it just sets the screen more and more orangish through the day. It's pretty nice, doesn't make your eyes, makes your eyes hurt less. Next, Xfce notify daemon for anything else that needs it, so notify send test. Just Xfce notify daemon, it's pretty lightweight, it's nice configurable, uses your GTK theme, so there are other replacements, but Xfce notify daemon just works. This is basically a simple script. I can even show it. Config i3 blocks, scripts, media setup. This basically runs MPC in a loop, MPC idle in a loop, so it will nicely update what song I'm currently playing. So if I press keys on my keyboard, it will actually update in the status bar. So I can probably do it from within the status bar, but I'm lazy and this works. It doesn't use any CPU because of how MPC idle is implemented. Next, Japanese input, basically using FCITX with Mosg as the backend, so I can type Japanese, and you know, I'm a weeb, so there's that. This is commented out. I've used to run PyCom as my compositor, but I don't have a use case for it anymore. After switching to 144 Hz monitor, compositor doesn't really seem to be that. It doesn't seem to be needed as much as on 60 Hz. I still run it on my ThinkPad, but on my main PC, it doesn't seem to be needed, especially because this monitor that I'm using has FreeSync, or something that AMD calls it, basically variable refresh rate. If I check an Xrender, oh god, was it, what was it? Yeah, verbose. Verbose, it should be somewhere, I don't recall it. Not HDMI, not VGA, DVI, no. Oh yeah, here it should be somewhere. Yes, and this DisplayPort connector, Xorg automatically enables, when VRR capable is set to 1, it will automatically use, well, you can see it's on auto, TER free, but no, it's not TER free. It's something, I don't recall it, but basically Xorg will run with variable refresh rate, which will mean that the screen will not run at its full refresh rate, like it's not running at 144 Hz right now, only when something is updating. That is pretty nice, so when I'm playing OS or just watching something that is actually more than 20 FPS, it actually will only then run at that speed. It's somewhere in Xrender, I don't recall I can't recall it for hell. Where is it though? Next, running Funar in daemon mode. This is so it starts up quickly every time I just use my keybind. That's all for it. Xset Wacom, this is for my graphics tablet, just rotate it so it's more cosmetic thing. And start i3. Nothing more to see here, I think. And an i3, that's a pretty box standard i3 config. What's here? Yeah, I'm running i3 blocks as my status bar. It's pretty cool. It has all the features I need, so I can see what music is playing, what is the volume, pulse audio volume, so when I mute it or push it up again, it will update. CPU usage, CPU temperature, GPU temperature, memory usage. This is actually fucked up on Linux for some time. Now it will both include... Oh, it's actually using so much memory. Well, never mind. Network bandwidth, how much free space I have on my root, and current time. Then those are color settings that basically ensure that the border isn't blinding. It's only like you can see in the middle, it's only a slight grayish border, and it works for me. What's further? Moving to Scratchpad, this is just i3 stuff, so I can move a floating window to a Scratchpad and bring it up. Keybinds that ensure that I can use the on-keyboard keybinds to lower or raise volume and mute, along with stuff like that. Though, what's next here? As a terminal file manager, I'm using VIFM. It's pretty nice, it's very configurable. If you're using Vim, then VIFM basically has the same config, and it's very, very comfy to use once you get to it. I can quickly do, quickly edit, I can open it with different things, maybe I want to open this file in LibreOffice, etc, etc. And it's using V bindings, so that's something I really enjoy. And this line ensures that it will run with a little script that allows it to just display images. So it can display images natively inside the terminal, and it will resize. It's using Ueberzug, or somehow it's pronounced like that. Then Funar, I've bound the XF calculator key on my keyboard to launch Python, because using Python as a calculator is actually amazing. So I have val1 equals 10, val2 equals, I don't know, 20, I'm doing some calculation. I can do it inside Python, which works very well as a calculator. From what I have, I can maybe I have some calculations that I need to do, and often, so I can define a function for it, then add more values. Very useful when calculating your GPA, for example. Doesn't get in the way as much as it seems to be. It's a very nice calculator, and I can import, oh my god, what's it called? A NumPy, when I need to do more important stuff. This is back from when I was using Steam. I don't even have it installed anymore, I believe. Then some bindings, Pulse Mixer, no, not this one. Pulse Mixer, basically a pulse audio control from the terminal using ncurses. It doesn't have everything, but it has basically everything. If you need only to raise or lower volume, it will serve you fine. NCMP-CPP, that's my, what's it called, MPD frontend. That's also customized with VI bindings and some other binds and some other shortcuts to make it more, what's it called, easy to use. Pretty cool not graphical, but terminal TUI frontend to MPD, Pavu control. This is when I actually need to do something that messes with Pulse Audio a bit more, so maybe I need to change the sound card, or maybe, I don't know, anything that NCMPC, anything that Pulse Mixer doesn't handle, I can do it manually from Pavu control. Then Trems. Trems is a front end to transmission. So if I start transmission, then if I run Trems, this is a front end to the transmission torrent daemon. It's a pretty nice. I do have a backup transmission. Remote GTK when I actually need a graphical interface. This is nicer when you actually have to, like, what's it called, low priority or skip other parts of the torrent. But Trems works for, let me stop that. Okay. What's that? LibreOffice. I don't actually use LibreOffice that much. I have it installed for uconv to work. Uconv is a universal converter, so if it has other bindings, like I have some oddity, and I want to. No, I'm using for uconv. I don't recall. I haven't used it recently, but uconv basically allows you to convert inside using LibreOffice, but from the terminal. So if I have some XLX it's not XLX, but if I have some presentation that somebody sent me and I don't want to open it, I can convert it to PDF and then open it in my PDF viewer, Zafura. What's next? Calcurs is just a nice, what's it called? Like calendar, something like that. Yeah. Neomod. Neomod is Neomod is mail client. Newsboat is let me run it. Newsboat is Jesus Christ, RSS reader. I haven't actually looked at it in a while. So I can check up my RSS from the terminal. It's also pretty nice. Graphics, and that's simply GIMP if I need to edit something. Firefox, Tor browser, standard stuff. Those are keybinds for MPC, so I can use it completely from the numpad. And yeah, those are scripts. I can show scripts as a screenshot full. Basically using MAME, which is a very simple screenshot tool. I can make a timestamp, take a screenshot with that timestamp, and then echo it to a file that will later allow me to use it. And this is used in scripts, what's it called, upload. So I can upload it. It's files.shiturl.org. It's just my, what's it called, Not file hosting site. Well, it's not mine, but I use it for those purposes. So if I need to host a screenshot somewhere that will disappear in 10 minutes, this is the number of seconds. This works fairly well. And that's pretty much it for my i3 config. I don't know what else to show here. I guess I can show what add-ons I use. So I have a fairly configured Firefox, but basically any Linux user I think uses a lot of add-ons with Firefox, Canvas Blocker, Clear URLs, Cookie Auto Delete. This is especially nice. Dark Reader because I'm lazy to configure other screen darkener. I'm not sure how to call those. Dark mode basically. Phone fingerprint, HTTPS everywhere though. This, I don't believe this is necessary as Firefox should do those automatically. I don't care about cookies, it's very nice. KeePass browser integration. KeePass is, what's it called? A password manager that's very easy to use both on the phone and on computer, on the desktop, so that's why I use it. Local CDN, this is basically a bit better decentralized. S3 translator because I can't read Russian. Sponsor block is very nice. Taper Monkey, standard stuff. Tridactyl, this is like VI controls but in the Firefox, uBlock, and this is a replacement for, what's it called? Firefox removed the like view image button a few versions ago, so this is a replacement for it, but Tridactyl is very nice. So for example, if I go to, oh, I don't know, Gshow, let's go to Gshow for example, I can just use VI like bindings, so I can search for, what can I search for? Well, so I can search for advanced, and yeah, I know this kanji, HK, and I can just use VI bindings to scroll through the page. This is very nice, very comfy indeed. And that's, oh, there's also my VI config. I'm using plug as this will show all the plugins nicely. This is the list of plugins that I use. Diopleet as the, what's it called, completion library. It's written in Python, so there's that. And this is my vconfig, but the vconfig is pretty personal for everybody. I think so, though there are some language servers, like I'm using VS Code language servers because they actually work pretty nicely. Like Rust language server, Python language servers, Clang daemon works really well. I didn't expect that. And Bash language server, this is very nice if you're lazy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Scripts. If you want to know anything more,